Okay. Well, hello, and happy Saturday to you. All right, so I am doing a commentary on the show 60 Days In. I am not sure if you guys have seen the show, but let me tell you about it. So, this is a show basically, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but this is a show that takes originally there were 7 participants to the show, and one was a private investigator, one was or is a cop, one is a, I don't want to call her a stay-at-home mom, but she was in the military. She's a stay-at-home mom now. One was in the Army and in the Navy. One is just a Trump supporter. One is just a regular old guy who actually was just a big fan of the show and decided to come on to the show. And then one is a former gang member, and then also did about, I think, 12 to 14 years in prison. So he's the only one that actually has experience for the show. So this particular episode, it's getting almost to the end, of this particular season. But this particular episode was mind-blowing. I mean, the whole show is just crumbling. Normally, just one person might put the whole show in jeopardy, but this particular show, I think they're all putting the show in jeopardy. This show. So let me tell you about it. Hang on. Probably should have did this already, huh? Sorry. All right, so this particular one starts out, okay, it starts out from last week. So last week, David, who is the cop, decided to have a private conversation with the DOs. Why are they called DOs? Don't know. I normally call them COs, but they're calling them DOs. So anyways, David had a private conversation with one of the DOs, and somehow David ends up revealing that he's a cop and that he's there undercover. Why? I don't know. They specifically said, don't tell them anything and take all of your personal information to your grave. Like, do not ever say anything while you're here. So, David just can't seem to remember that. So he's been there for a while. He's gotten really, really arrogant, and so he just thinks that he can do no wrong. He can say whatever he wants and no one's going to question anything he says. Well, the problem is that, again, you tell the CO something and they go and tell the chief right away. So the chief calls him in and says, did you blow your cover? Did you tell them that you were a cop? And he says, no, not necessarily. But what does that mean? Not necessarily, right? So he says, well, you gave them your real name. You gave them the real names of the participants, and you said that you were a cop here undercover. Like, do you understand how dangerous that is? No, but it wasn't like that. That's not what I did. It wasn't like that. And so they're like, listen, you cannot go back into the show. into the prison. You can't go back in. We got to release you. You got to go home because, now we got to do damage control and you don't know what you just did. So they send him home. What they don't know was that he's already told. Now, in this particular prison, everyone has to run with their same race, right? So David is Black, so he runs with the kinfolk, and Abner runs with the Chicanos. Someone mentioned Abner's name, and David said, yeah, that's my homeboy. And they said, your homeboy? How do you know him? Because, you're not supposed to know any other race. And how do you know somebody that just happens to be in this prison? How would you have known? How could it be your homeboy if you're here? You guys would hate each other if you're here together. And so he says, oh, he's my homeboy from back in the day. Well, that's a problem for Abner because Abner said he knows no one here. He knows no one in this location. He is from the East Coast. They're in Arizona right now. So how would he know someone from back in the day? Well, like I said, now David is left. He's left the facility. He didn't tell anyone about that particular conversation. So that's a problem. So now the problem is, how are they going to help Abner? Who's going to tell the chief that this conversation happened? No one. No one talked about this. So now the chief thinks, okay, we're going to get rid of David and everything's just going to get on back smoothly, back on track. No, they forgot to mention that they said that he knew Abner. So now they're going to put another guy in a pod who knows about the story, the person that David told. And now Abner is a sitting duck. So what happens is after David leaves, they send a kite. And they send the kite over to the other pod to try to let them know that Abner knows David and something ain't right, right? So Abner just happens to get the kite. I mean, the luck of the draw. He just happens to see the kite come up under the door. He opens it, looks at it, and it says, hey, tell Abner that his boy David says hi. That's a problem because they know David is Black and Abner is Chicano. There's no way they could be boys unless something is not right. Right? And mind you, now David has been released and everybody's talking. The rumor mill's talking. Oh, he was a plant. He was a fucking plant. He was a cop. And so anybody who was associated with him knows that he's a cop. So if Abner is his homeboy, then Abner knows he's a cop. Oh, damn. Damn. And he's your boy? You can't be no boy's cop, no friend, no boys, a friend of a boy who's a cop, in prison. How would you be friends with a cop? Anyway, so Abner starts to get nervous because shit, he knows his days are numbered. He's watching the sign language. And the sign language is they're trying to get the green light to attack the Chicano. They're doing like the C and they're doing like little hand gestures. Well, because Abner did about 14 years in prison, he knows what they're saying and he's trying to watch it. So he knows they're trying to get the green light on him. So he's nervous. He's looking around. He's keeping his back, to the door so that he can see the mirror and see who's coming up behind him. But he knows it's a matter of hours. As soon as they get the green light, as soon as they all confirm that David was a cop and that they had like the connection together, it's over. So they decide that it's locked down. It's time to go to bed. And so Abner, goes on into the cell. He gets locked down in his room. Everybody's asleep, right? Because they don't know yet. So everybody still trusts him, but he can't sleep. He's just sitting there and he's like holding his chest. And so, he's nervous. He's nervous. And so he says, listen, I can't sleep with one eye open tonight. I can't even sleep tonight, and they're going to kill me. But before they do that, I'm going home. So he starts to give the hand signal. The hand signal is that your shoulder hurts. So he starts to give the hand signal. And so when he does that, then, that's supposed to let them know to come and get him. So he does it while they're on lockdown. So that means probably in the morning, they're going to come and ask him to come and talk to them, or he's going to get a visitation or something's going to happen to pull him out of there. And he's going to ask to go home. I'm sure he's going to tap out. Tap, 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 tap. He's tapping out because there is no way he's going to stay there. So he, it ends with him, right? So he's in there in another pod with another contestant. Well, in another contestant's in the pod, actually, is what I'm trying to say. So that contestant was in the pod with David. So his days are numbered too because he talked to David a lot. So they're going to say anyone who was associated with David cannot be trusted. And so they're probably going to come after him. So I think they're going to have to pull all of them out, but we shall see. Maybe there's going to be a twist. Maybe they can send them to another pod where they can continue to do their work. But I don't know because this is prison. This information, there's kites going around right now as we speak. There's kites going around. So that ends it for the men. So now let's get on to the female pod. So all three of the females are on the same pod. Okay, there's Brooke, there's Jasmine, there's Vivian, all in the same pod. So they have a new person that comes in, a new inmate that comes in, and she immediately zeroes in on Brooke and Vivian. And so she's talking to Jasmine and doesn't realize that Jasmine is also a participant. So she's talking to Jasmine and she says, hey, there's a couple cops in here. And Jasmine's like, who? What? Oh, those two girls over there, Brooke and Vivian. And Jasmine's like, oh shit, they're working with me, So she's like, oh, really? She like try to play the role like she doesn't know anything. And so the way that this lady kind of knows it, she says, listen, I've been in and out of these prisons for years. I know all these girls. Those two girls, they're not missing any teeth. They're like all clean and manicured. They've never been on any drugs. I can tell their teeth are straight and they're not even missing any teeth. So they've had a great life and they are not here for the reasons that they say they're here. They're plants. They're probably from that show 60 Days In. Like she even called it. She even pinpointed the name of the damn show. You know why? Because the show is on TV. They're allowed to watch cable. And so that's how they know about it. Simple as that. Simple as that. In prison, you can watch cable. Therefore, that's how you know what's going on all the time. And then also, if you're in a prison and they all of a sudden start putting cameras in when there weren't cameras before, doesn't that tell you something? There's a camera crew walking around all the time. Doesn't that tell you something? So I think they need to work on being a little bit more incognito, about the production, or call the production something else. Say they're doing a documentary on something else so that people don't figure it out. But whatever, they're figuring it out. So, anyways, that was a rumor about Travis Scott. We'll look at that later, won't we? Anyway, I got to figure out how to disable that for next time because I don't want that to ruin my video. Anyway, so then, she's pinpointed these two. And so she says, I don't know. I'm going to stay away from them. So she's talking to Brooke and she tells Brooke about how she's got this shank on the bottom of her shoe. And she shows Brooke that it's a big old screw on the bottom of her shoe. And so Brooke decides to send a kite to tell the guards that there's a shank, in the pod. So what ends up happening is they come in, they toss all the cells. And immediately this inmate knows that Brooke told on her because she only told Brooke. Lesson number 1. If someone tells you something, always find out if anybody else knows. If you're the only one that knows, how are you going to rat? How are you going to rat if they haven't told anybody else but you? So now she knows Brooke did it. And so is Brooke going to get beat up? No, because she already knows that Brooke is a plant. She already feels that way, so she's not going to mess with her. Brooke has just proven to her that she's probably a plant and she's a snitch at that. So Jasmine, the black girl, is laying in her bed and she's saying that she doesn't feel good. And so she's just like, oh, I don't feel good. I don't feel good. So she's talking to the same inmate and she says, can you get any drugs in here? And the inmate's like, yeah, drugs is my middle name. That's what I do. Yeah, what do you need? Yeah, what? She's like, yeah, the next time you score, can you slide it to me? And immediately lady goes, we got another plant in here. You don't do no drugs. You trying to play me? You think I don't know a drug addict you think I don't know somebody who's fiending? Are you playing with me right now? So she walks away. Ain't nothing but cops in here. It's just cops in here everywhere. Everybody's a cop. So now all the girls are like, oh, shoot. So this is probably the worst cast, with the exception of Abner. This is the worst cast they've ever had. This is the worst cast. But let me tell you, the show is extremely entertaining. Extremely entertaining. And bless their hearts. They all went in there to try to do the best job they could. But like she said, your teeth are perfectly straight. You're not missing any teeth. Your skin is all nice and pretty. You're pretty. You ain't been through no hard times. I know. So you are not trying to get no heroin right now. Like, knock it off. So anyways, that's pretty much what happened on the show. And, we're looking forward to next week. Next week will be really good. We'll see whether the warden, the chief, whatever, decides he's going to actually pull everyone out, or if they have some sort of a game plan to get them through the full 60 days. Abner's asking them to go out. He's asking, hey, you got to pull me out before they kill me. because they're going to find out what's going on with me. So are they going to just move him to another pod where no one knows anything about him, or is Abner actually going to tap out? With the ladies, what are they going to do? You know, are the ladies going to tap out, or are they just going to stick it out and try to recover, you know, from this? But this is the worst cast as far as being able to like handle it, as far as being able to like stay under the radar. I mean, wow. But exciting show, always exciting. Definitely feel free to leave your comments. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys for the next show. See you later.